Hi, we are Regina de la Mora, Paloma Luis, Pamela Esquinca, Mariana Ruiz, and Maria Jose Medina. And today, we are going to talk about coastal lagoons. As humans, we coexist with other living organisms, from the people we live with to the bacteria living in our bodies. We often take for granted the rich environments we are a bit further away from. We coexist with them as well, maybe not on a daily basis, but we surely share the same planet. It is most important to appreciate and be conscious about those marvelous natural environments that surround us. Let us talk about a not so common, not known, yet amusing environment. Many years ago, during the Holocene, lagoons formed as a result of the rising and building of coastal barriers by marine processes. They are inland water bodies found in all continents separated from the ocean by a barrier. This means they lay next to the ocean shore and are usually found in touristic destinations. They occupy 13% of coastal areas worldwide and are often impacted by both natural and human stimulus. They are highly productive and ideal systems for aquaculture projects, but are at the same time highly affected by anthropogenic influences. But how so? On one hand, coastal lagoons trap inorganic sediment and organic matter and thus serve as material sinks or material filters. On the other hand, they often exhibit very high primary and secondary production rates and are valuable for fishers and aquaculture, and sometimes for salt extraction. What is most important to have in mind is that on a geologic time scale, they are short-lived landscape features. Their existence is intrinsically linked to their filtering efficiency and the rate of relative sea level change in response to global climatic change. The size of coastal lagoons varies substantially with surface areas. The fascinating fact about them is that they are of course connected to the ocean. How they are connected is the most important thing of all. They connect to the ocean by one or more restricted inlets which remain open or at least intermittently on and off. This means that salt water might come face to face with fresh water and still not mix, and sometimes they do mix. Depending on local climatic conditions, lagoons may be from completely fresh to hypersaline. A coastal lagoon may or may not be subject to the unification or coalition of tides, also known as tidal mixing. This is determined by depth. They have water depths which don't exceed a few meters. Some coastal lagoons are among the most productive aquatic ecosystems. Organisms of the coastal lagoons include lichens, green and blue algae, as well as red and brown. Also snails, sea urchins, sea stars, anemone, and some types of coral. A salty coastal lagoon population is entirely related to the ocean shore population. For example, if the waves are bigger, the population of the beach will be greater and the lagoon's population will grow. If the waves are smaller, the beach population will be less in number and therefore the lagoon will suffer the same consequences. Some animals affected by these are seagulls and sea turtles. But will these last long? As mentioned before, some of the activities that take place at these environments are fishing, ecotourism, salt extraction, and urban development. The risks this might develop are loss of habitat, pollution, and excessive fishing. The state of the coastal lagoon habitat is currently good, but it has been progressively decreasing. Some of the situations these environments are vulnerable to are due to natural processes such as the accumulation of excessive concentrations of organic matter, provoking a large increase in the mortality of species. This when talking about saltwater lagoons. Such dramatic events increase both in frequency and extension as a consequence of overpopulation, which is mainly related to activities in the lagoon watershed. As you might know, climate change has progressively increased the melting of the poles. This has greatly affected the sea level as well as the salinity of the seawater. Even though coastal lagoons that contain fresh water are most likely to achieve stability in terms of a healthy ecosystem, they will be just as affected as the salty ones. A recent study has shown that by the year 2100, which is not much, the sea level would have risen 45 centimeters. Therefore, the loss of 50% of the now existing coastal lagoons would be inevitable. But can we avoid this? Are we going to do something about it? The solution is right before our eyes. First, we have to make conscious of the environments we coexist with in this beautiful earth. We have to learn how to love it and care for it, because there's only one beautiful earth and there's not going to be another one. Coastal lagoons are as important as other environments. We hope you liked it, and thank you. María José, Paloma, Regina, Pamela, and Mariana. 50-10.